Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Wow, that might be a new record. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode
Broncos
of
country. Let's ride.
Emerald City Sports, the podcast, where we don't have too much to talk about because the Mariners season is over. The Sounders are almost done. They're heading into the playoffs, and the Seahawks are mostly the Seahawks right now, and then the Kraken. And then, since that's the case, we're gonna talk some college football later. So let's jump in to the Seahawks, Josh. Not the game you want to see from that offense, as in a very, I would say, ugly, low-scoring game, very great defensive battle. The Seahawks dropped the ball 13-17 to the Cincinnati Bengals, who are back up on the come up after a very rough start to the season. So, I mean, look, coming in, we knew the Bengals were going to be a tough team. Like, what? Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, and a very good defense that you had to deal with. I mean, we knew it was going to be a tough battle. And as you can tell from Josh behind him, his poster is in shambles. And that means we did take the L. Look, let's start off with the good news first. And the good news is that our defense was absolutely phenomenal. Look, okay, the first two drives not great at all. Gave up a lot of yards, gave up two touchdowns. But then once the second half came around, man, did they change into full gear. I mean, kept them in a shutout for the third quarter and then only gave them 3 points in the fourth quarter when they already started off in field goal range and never even scored any yards. They only got those 3 points because Evan McPherson was able to kick like a 50-something yarder to score that field goal. If that wasn't the case, we probably would have won. Like had a good chance to win because we would have just had to driven down and kick a field goal. That's it. The defense, amazing job. Devin Witherspoon able to back it up. Reek Woolen, okay. Trey Brown, awesome performance. Jamal Adams, great to see him back as himself. Didn't get a concussion or any kind of injury.
Didn't get injured.
Big win right there. Um, so I mean, the defense was really the reason we stayed in this game. If it weren't for that amazing second half, we would have been blown out of the water, blown away, absolutely destroyed. Because that Bengals offense is really something. And for the Seahawks defense to be able to do that is a really big feat. Even though they had to go home knowing they lost, they should be proud of themselves a little bit that they were able to keep Joe Burrow and company in check for a good 30 minutes. Josh, what did you think of this Seahawks defense?
Oh, yeah. I mean, first opening drive, Joe Burrow was able to pass to basically everybody. As in everybody, like six different receivers he threw just like on the opening drive. Hand it off to Joe Mixon. That doesn't work. Give it to Jamar Chase. That doesn't work. Just run it yourself. It was just mincemeat. The Seahawks defense, as you said, was able to stop in the second half. Was able to stop Jamar Chase from uh doing what he did like last week against when he pulled off 15 reception, 3 touchdown game. We kind of shut him down, and that's what basically shut the Bengals defense down for that entire second half. I mean, the pass rush just got better and better as the game went on. But obviously, as you said, it just wasn't their fault. I mean, obviously, they just maybe couldn't have that slow start, but yeah, they played the best, and Jamal Adams didn't get hurt.
But now we got to go to the bad news, and that was the absolute garbage that was our offense. When you look at Geno Smith's stat line, 27 for 41, 323 yards, it doesn't seem that bad. But then you see that he threw two interceptions and he did not throw any touchdowns. And we were absolutely horrible. And horrible might be an understatement. We were like just absolute trash in the red zone. Could never get in once. Well, okay, we did
We did
get
get
in
it once.
once. But then after that, never in again. Like, it just seemed like there was a brick wall up there, an imaginary brick wall, at that end zone that just we could not push our way through. It was just really hard to watch. And then also in the clutch moments when it really mattered, fourth down, third down, when we really needed to convert, Geno Smith holds the ball too long. The Bengals pass rush just overpowers our still banged up O line, and Geno Smith just takes the sack for what, a loss of 5-6 yards when you have to punt or would turn over on downs. It's just those little mistakes that were really not needed, especially in a game like this where it really did matter because we were finally facing a tough opponent for the first time since what, the Rams and the Lions. And for them to not be able to deliver in these crucial moments really did stab our team in the back in the end. Josh, what did you think of this offense?
Um, yeah, they just couldn't get it done, and they just couldn't get open, even if they had Smith Najigba, Metcalf, Lockett. They couldn't get they couldn't trick the defense to gain one of them open at all, or not even. You couldn't even get whoever the running back was, whether it was Charbonnet, whether it was Walker the third, to get open to throw down. And it just sucked. And Geno Smith's just like, we gotta go. He was basically just looking out, like far, far away in the deep zone to for the open guy, and just tried to force a pass in to get that deep yardage. Especially in the red zone, he just tried to go when he was basically 10 yards away from the goal line instead of running the ball, especially on first down. He instead throws the ball, like for example, that force corner on the Lockett that just didn't go or get intercepted. Yeah, as you said, we went to the red zone, I think 4 times, touchdown, and then field goal, interception, and turnover on downs. Just not good in the red zone, and not good for Geno Smith's play and for the offense. And I mean, also you could blame the offensive line too, because they weren't able to hold off the Bengals. Sometimes just the Bengal got uncovered, and he just went all the way to Geno Smith and put him down. I mean, you can put some blame on that, but it's just the whole entire unit as a whole.
After that first drive when they just drove down with ease, punched into the end zone, it really seemed like it was going to be a nice offensive shootout of a game. But then, like right after that, just their engine stopped. They decided to fall asleep. They decided to pull a Colorado. Sorry, Colorado had to catch a stray there. I'm sorry. Um, they just stopped, and it was really annoying. And then what? You weren't able to utilize Charbonnet the way you did. Like Jacob, who can't be here, Jacob said in our chat that why weren't we using Zach Charbonnet more? There were times where it would be like, what, a short yardage gain where we can just bring in Charbonnet to just plow it up the middle, but we use Kenneth Walker instead, and we go nowhere. Or he tries to jump it outside, doesn't work as well. We we can use Charbonnet a little more. What I did like was that we used JSN more, because man, JSN has really been quiet this season. Like what, Jake Bobo is getting more. Like I'm pretty sure Jake Bobo is getting more like love from the 12s than JSN is, which is weird because the undrafted guy is not supposed to be doing that. Your first rounder is, but I mean, I like that we're throwing to him more, and it's not just screen passes either. It's like nice plays down the middle. That was one good takeaway from our offense. But another complaint I had is like when we went down to the red zone that last drive, and we needed a touchdown, and we hit that deep ball to Lockett, huge play. We go down there. There's still what, 40 something seconds left. Why did we throw? I feel like if we ran and made them burn their timeouts, we one could get even closer to the end zone, and then two, because of that banged up O line, we wouldn't have to deal with losing yards like Geno Smith did in that drive. So that was also another thing. I mean, Shane Waldron usually runs a good play calling game, but there were just some question marks there that really threw me off. Josh, what do you think about the play calling, and did you see anything good from the offense?
Not really after the first half, and I don't think it's Shane Waldron's play calling part, because I feel like he he knows what this offense is capable of, and he's also used to the Rams also having actually a pretty good pass offense as well, and actually converting when it comes to red zones and third downs and all those very, 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 very important plays here. And it just didn't like just the offense just weren't in sync, and obviously he probably forgot to factor in a backup O line because that also exists as well. Our O line is still banged up from the Giants or whatever. You can pick any game. Probably some O lineman got hurt there. Um, I don't think it's his fault. I don't think it necessitates a change in this play calling. I mean, he didn't really make that big of mistakes. Just the unit just wasn't able to perform.
Fair point. Fair point. Um, we go next to our next game. It is what, week 7, and we're hosting the Arizona Cardinals at home. This is a game where we need to get everything right. This is a game where we are supposed to find what were the struggles against the Bengals and how can we utilize those and improve it against this 1-5 Cardinals team. But the problem is we have historically been atrocious against the Cardinals at home. Look, we did win last year, but the year before that we lost in an ugly game that Josh and I went to, and we just like left that thinking this season's over because that was like what Russell's like second game back or whatever. Ugly game.
Yeah.
And then just look at the years past. The Cardinals have had our number at Lumen Field. So even though this team is 1-5, I am not gonna think that this is a cakewalk. Joshua Dobbs is not as bad as people make it seem. Like he is a pretty solid quarterback. And then what? They still have Hollywood Brown and Zach Ertz. Not really much else around them, but you never know. When Colt McCoy at one point can destroy this defense at Lumen Field, Joshua Dobbs could do it too. It's a different defense, but it's still possible with the way the Cardinals have played at Lumen Field because it always seems like they have a fire lit in them once they step into Seattle. Meanwhile, on the defense, they really don't have anyone. I mean, Buda Baker's on IR, so their defense is really struggling, and our offense just really needs to take advantage of that because we were not able to do it with a pretty good Bengals defense. Things should be different with a much less talented Cardinals D up on that line. Josh, what do the Hawks need to do to be able to take out this should be win against the Cardinals?
I think the first problem though is that you gotta talk about our basically backup QB curse. We haven't done historically well against backup
Yep.
quarterbacks, Mason Rudolph, Bolt McCoy. I think though I feel like we've held our number against the Cardinals as well. But I think we can do the same in order to beat them at Lumen Field. All we need to do, get the fans like I think we can turn this basically like the Giants game, but with more fans. Get the fans, pull off the false starts that we did against the Panthers, and then bring in that excellent pass rush, more blitzes against Joshua Dobbs, challenge him in his not so long experience, um, force him to do some bad plays. There we go, get the ball back. Hopefully, we can actually turn the Cardinals defense into mice meat. And there we go. We can win and move on to the next game.
Does this feel like a trap game to you, Josh?
Can you say that again? What
Does
was that? I couldn't.
does this feel like a trap game? Like,
No, no, it doesn't.
all right.
No.
Josh seems confident.
I'd
I
say
don't
the
know.
Giants seem more of a trap game because of
That's
like the
fair.
prime timeness, but Cardinals, oh, no,
So,
move on.
Josh, what is your score prediction for this game?
I think they're gonna score a lot of points. I'm going to go 23 because some weird crap is gonna happen. To 7.
Okay. I like that. That feels like a dominant game. I'm going to say a very generic score of 27-13. You know, we pull out a solid win where both sides do their job. The defense continues their great performance from last week on it this week, and the offense will find their footing and get back on track. I will say JSN is going to catch his first touchdown this week. That is my prediction. Because we need to get JSN a touchdown.
I don't think so.
Really? Okay.
I think
I think he
Jake Bobo will get a touchdown
He already has.
faster
He
than
already
Jay.
has.
Well, he already has. Get another yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's probably gonna have more touchdowns than JSN at the end of the season.
Okay.
That's my hot take
All
prediction.
right. All right.
I think he'll get one this week.
I think.
If anybody gets a touchdown, if a rookie wide receiver gets a touchdown this week, it's gonna be Jake Bobo.
Okay.
Write that down.
All right. I'm gonna make sure you clip this because if JSN does and Jake Boba doesn't, you sir are gonna be getting a lot from me next week. But I think this is JSN's time. It's time for him to do what we were hoping he would do. We saw a glimpse of it against the Bengals. Now let's just put that even more into our scheme this week against the Cardinals. Because remember, it's the Cardinals. This is a game that should be easy. But as we always know, the Seahawks never make things easy. We always got to have a heart attack somehow. That's our Seahawks stuff. Let's go around the NFL. Because even though the Seahawks lost, there were some good things that happened this week. For example, the 49ers took an L because Brock Purdy realized that without weapons, apparently he's nothing. They lost to the Cleveland. You lose your undefeated streak to the Cleveland Browns. That is very unfortunate. And
Not even for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, PJ Walker, like the XFL legend PJ Walker. That is something. Yeah. That is something. Brock Purdy finally took an L. 12 for 27, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. This is what Brock Purdy looks like without his weapons around him. CMC is hurt, which is a big detrimental part for the Niners. That is very unfortunate for them. And, I mean, Ayuk is still there. Debo's So, I mean, if Brock Purdy, this might be where we see the real Brock Purdy. This is, without CMC, he will have a lot of trouble. But then also for PJ Walker, even though he threw 2 interceptions, I mean, to lose to PJ Walker is pretty disappointing. But he also you can pin it on the kicker also since he missed the game winner. Not the way you want to go out. It's college
with his family there.
And it's just like college flashbacks for a lot of kickers, just missing the game winner. Very low scoring game too. I mean, this just really shows how good the Browns defense was. And it was just like our game, it was a defensive battle the entire time. Not only did the Niners horrible grammar. Not only did the Niners lose, the Eagles also took an L to Zach Wilson.
20-Jets, Jets.
They lost to Zach Wilson and the Jets. Jalen Hurts, 3 interceptions. Look, you got to give kudos to that Jets defense. They have really shown up in a majority of these games. They shut down Jalen Hurts, did a pretty decent job on Patty Mahomes. I mean, that defense really is something. You got to give your kudos to the guys. And as much as I hate it, Sauce Gardner is a pretty freaking good cornerback. And, I mean, I guess brotherly shoving your way to victory didn't work this time. So now there's no more undefeated teams in the league. And believe it or not, there is a tie for that best record spot. It's the Eagles, the Niners, and in the NFC, I believe the only other team is the Lions. And the Lions, their one loss, don't forget, was against us. And it really sucks because this week we were supposed to be 4-1. But, things happen. Your QB decides to just not go near the red zone, and it's just part of the game. But, to be able to be the one team to beat the Lions and for them to be up there, I mean, the Lions are a good team, and for us to be able to beat them is pretty dang good. So, man, the Lions fans are finally getting joy after so many years of just endless suffering. So, good for them. Good for the Lions. If there's anybody I want to see take out the Niners and the Eagles that isn't the Hawks, it's got to be the Lions. Come on. Everyone is pulling for the Lions to prevail over everybody. Because that would just be a pretty nice, heartwarming story to see. Why don't we talk about all the weird things that happened? The Monday night game, Josh, did you see that one fan? That was
Man, I
Interesting.
saw that live. Yeah.
Give me your reaction to that.
Crazy fan, but with you can't have viral fan camera panning moment, multiple camera panning moments without controversy.
Yep.
We're in Los Angeles. Chargers fans don't exist. Do you think yes, it's a paid actor? I don't believe that. I think I would
An
defend
NFL
her
plant.
until I saw
The
a
Vike.
picture of her with Vikings face paint in a Vikings jersey.
But okay,
Die
to
hard
be
Chargers
to be
fan
to
mind.
be fair, Josh, and I might get canceled for this, but I mean, a lot of Asians kind of look the same. Like people at school will think I'm Josh and Josh is me.
She has
People will be like
confirmed
that.
that is her photo.
Wow. All right. Maybe it is an NFL plant
Let's
then.
stop. Yeah, I don't want you to get canceled on your own podcast here. Let's stop the stereotypical whatever, and let's move on to something nice. Let's move on to a very good jersey because the Buccaneers brought back their creamsicle jerseys and then got destroyed by the aforementioned
Am I
Lions, 20-6.
I might be. This is a very unpopular opinion. This is my hot take here. I don't vibe with the creamsicle jerseys. I don't think they look good. I don't. That's my opinion. I think the creamsicle
I
color
know.
is ugly. I do not think it hits well, and especially to get whooped by the Lions in those jerseys just makes it even worse. Okay, yeah, those jerseys are ugly. The Seahawks throwbacks clear it by a mile, not even close. It's like if Elliot Kipchoge ran against an average person. That's how much it clears. Seahawks jersey's way better. I do not like the Buccaneers jersey. I think they look ugly. That color of oranges is just not it. The creamsicles only look good when I'm eating them as a dessert. That's all I'll say. There.
I personally I would wear it if I moved to
Not-
Tampa Bay. Honestly,
Never, ever, ever. That is the most. That might be one of the most ugliest throwback jerseys. Besides, like the
I like
Packers
it.
one and stuff.
I
That
really
just
like it.
a lot of people will like it. I don't. It just does not hit for me. That's all I'll say. Yeah. What else? What else happened in the NFL? The Giants decided to throw it on the 1 yard line. Wonder where we've seen that before, huh?
And they go 0-4 in primetime games.
Why are they still putting them in
They're
prime time?
prime.
This is ridiculous. The New York bias is absolutely ridiculous. Like
No,
the
no,
Giants,
no. It's not biased. It's not biased.
I think
biased.
it is.
You
Come on,
say
this is
okay.
ridiculous.
People are saying that AI will take over the world, but just saying AI developed this schedule. So if you want to blame anybody on this schedule, primetime games, whatever, you can blame AI because that's
What?
the computer that created the schedule.
You're joking, right?
No. What they decide they basically if you haven't seen the NFL how they make the schedule video, but basically the AI so people set the parameters and the AI the parameters are listed
Wow.
as given as points in score. So whichever schedule has the best score, as in like, oh, don't put teams at Thursday night football back to back, or don't have 3 road games in a row. So that schedule will have a higher score. Whichever has the best score, minus. I mean, it'll be one of those schedules will be, and then they'll actually look at it manually, and then they'll decide that will be the
Wow.
schedule.
Man,
But yeah, AI had a hand in that.
I did not know that. Well, AI is stupid then, because why would you put the Giants in 4 primetime games and what? It's like it was week 6. Ridiculous.
It's week
You
6.
could have You could have flexed it. Like maybe you could have flexed in our game, because Seahawks Bengals sounds a lot better than Bills Giants. Okay. Or you could put
You could have put in another Taylor Swift Sunday night football game if you
Oh
really
my
want to go
goodness.
that deep into
Okay,
it.
I would rather have the Giants Bills than that. Like, I think Taylor Swift is great. I went to her Eras Tour show. I mean, not Eras Tour show. The Eras Tour movie. The Eras Tour movie. Josh and I both have seen it. It is good. But like,
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. As
Okay.
someone who watched the movie, let's
Okay.
clip this right now. If you want to, people who know me, if you want to share this, I did
Josh,
not
it's
like
because
the movie.
Josh lives and breathes sports. Like pop culture, Josh will be like, "What's that? What's pop culture?" Like
It's
the
pop-
only pop culture Josh knows is sports. I'm pretty sure. Like yeah, he knows some other things like chess. If you want to count chess as pop culture. Besides that, like, come on, okay, come on, Josh. Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour movie was good. Okay, that
I don't think
I
so.
would I would much rather have the Giants Bills than seeing Taylor Swift on my screen 50 times because the Chiefs decided to whoop another team. Like if you put the Chiefs Broncos on Sunday night, I'm not even gonna watch because one, we already know it's gonna be like an obvious Chiefs win. Two, you don't want to
They
see
only won
Russell
19
Wilson,
to 8.
but everyone knew they were gonna win anyways, even though it was
No,
a
no, I don't
very
care. I mean,
ugly win.
if I was the stupid NFL executive, they would want to flex in Chiefs Broncos. That
Yeah,
wouldn't be
they're
my
they're they're
opinion. I'm saying
piggybacking
what
off.
the NFL, what
I
would
think it's
Goodell
rid-
would do.
I think it's ridiculous that they're piggybacking off her fame though. Like, they're just trying to get in as many views as possible. It's all because at the end of the day, it's all about the money. All they want is money. Like that's how every business rolls. So they're gonna do anything to appeal to the Swifties, and I mean, I guess it worked, but much to the ire of a lot of NFL fans. All right,
You want to talk about wasting money?
go ahead.
Well, let's talk about the Seattle Kraken because the people who upgraded their Xfinity packages after Xfinity forced them to pay an extra $15 a month to use Root Sports, and now they've given a great show to us Kraken fans as they lose 3 straight games, 1 point because of an shootout loss. I mean, yeah.
Funny thing, guys. I feel like Josh should say this, but I got it. This is hilarious. No, I don't know. You guys may not know. I'm a cross country runner. Cross country runners. We live and breathe running, which is a fair point. Funny thing about this is Josh has told me and told a lot of people, like, check his Strava. Just check his Strava at Joshua Ngo, right?
I don't think you should leak my Strava here, but
It's Strava. It's
okay.
not that bad.
Yeah.
He has pledged to run a mile for every goal the Seattle Kraken give up. So he has had to run 4 because we gave up 4 to the Golden Knights. He's run 3 miles since we gave up 3 to the Predators, and then he's run another 2 miles for our loss to the Blues. So Josh, by this rate, I mean, you will be a track legend once spring comes around. Because, man, oh man, are you going to be racking up a ton of miles. You've already racked up 9 in 3 games. That's 3 miles a game, dude. You go 3 miles for what? The next, how many more games are there? 80? Dude.
79.
79. Okay. Let me punch it into the calculator real quick.
79
If
times 3, 237 miles.
that is crazy right there. 200, and okay, for in the winter too. Like you are going to be freezing everything up just trying to get that 8 miles in once the Kraken decide to like crap the bed.
Good
one
thing
day.
NHL has a Christmas break, or else I would have been absolutely screwed.
You would
on
have to
Christmas
be
Day.
running in the snow if that happened, but it is pretty hilarious. Josh, why are the Kraken 0-3?
It's not the goalie's fault. We picked the best 2 goalies we had, Philip Grubauer and then Joey Decord, who played in the AHL for the Coachella Valley Firebirds last season. Not their fault. They actually have pretty good stats. I mean, especially Joey Decord, who played in that last game against the Blues, only giving up 1 and then just losing a shootout, but he's never actually won a shootout in the NHL. 0-2 for now. But the reason why is because in in 2 of our games, the Vegas and what's the other one? Vegas and the Preds, there was an own goal in both games. That's 2 extra miles added to my body because
I think
people messed up with a stick.
I think that if they score an own goal, you should run an extra mile. Like if they score 1 own goal, you're running 2 miles. If you score if they give up 2 own goals, you're running 4. Like an extra
No, I'm
mile
not
for
gonna do
every
that.
own goal.
I'm doing.
That would be pretty
I'm okay.
funny.
I'm keeping it simple. Like I was thinking about
Come on, Josh. You
doing
gotta
like some
get
weird
you gotta
stuff,
get to
but yeah.
300 miles. 300 miles this season. You gotta do it. You gotta do
It's
it. It's
okay.
gonna
They're
be
gonna get
fire.
because at this rate, our defense is not in sync at all, and then our offense can't score the goals. And when the offense can't score the goals, because it's not because they can't they shoot they can shoot on goal and the goalie saves it. It's because we either get blocked or they hit the ball or they hit the puck horrendously far away from the goal. Other team breaks away. I mean, at some point the goalie can't stop every single 2-on-1 breakaway that happens, or can't stop every single power play. That's the only highlight of the Kraken. That's the only good thing the Kraken have done this season is stop the penalty is and do the penalty kill. They haven't allowed a goal when they're trying to penalty kill this season. They have allowed a goal while they're on the power play, though. They can't score a goal in the power play, but they decided for the Predators game, let's just let one in while they have one less guy than us. That's
That is
fun.
that's pretty rough. And I mean, Josh, now they have a tough challenge. A rematch of last year's playoffs with the Colorado Avalanche. You are coming into Seattle 2-0 and 0 and looking for revenge. And what better way to do that than a team that's 0-2-1? Cuz this is going to be a rough matchup, Josh. It's already started. I think it's going to start soon. Man, this game, I mean, Josh, I don't know if you're gonna be very positive about this game, but what do you think?
I mean, I think you even got to look at this week in general. Have you seen this? 3 straight home games against 3 very good playoff teams. You got the Colorado Avalanche, who we barely defeated in 7 games. You got the Carolina Hurricanes, which made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Final. And then you got the New York Rangers, who were first round exit. But I mean, still, playoff team. This playoff caliber teams in our home ice. Can we score goals for our fans? And as it looks right now, not so good. 2 goals in our first 3 games, and we still haven't talked about our shootout performance yet because we haven't scored. In our shootout, we never scored any of our goals. That's another glaring problem that I could talk about. A lot of issues, and we're playing against really tough teams. Not gonna go well.
What do you think your final mile total count for these next 3 games? Avalanche, Hurricanes, Rangers. These 3 games, how many miles are you gonna run at the end of this week?
Oof. I think Avalanche at least 2. Hurricanes, they are a very good team. It could go up to 4. It could go up to 6 even.
I will actually die of laughter if I see you
A
just like post
Friday,
a six
Friday,
mile run on
Friday
Friday.
game,
That is so sad.
Friday game. No school for us. Yeah. Um, Rangers. I think we can hold it, but if just some breakaway, we could even. I think we can hold it. Maybe 1 or 2. So I think final total at the most another 9 goal week or 9 mile week,
Okay.
which would be perfectly okay.
That's how low Josh's expectations have come. 9 miles means 9 goals given up, and that's perfectly okay with Josh. That is not something you want to see from a diehard Kraken fan like Josh, who has basically accepted his
Hey,
fate.
at least I didn't do the Seahawks, or else I would
That
have been
is
running
true. That
17
is
miles.
very no. With the Seahawks, you should make it like an incentive. Like you should like subtract if they lose, you subtract the points that the opposing team scored from them. Like you would only run 4 miles today, but if it was like what the
No.
Rams game where you'd run like 17 or whatever, like that is a
Yeah.
solid half
And then
marathon and another half or whatever.
Mariners big games can happen as well, and it happens every single day. It's like,
Yeah.
let's
No,
move
no, no.
on.
If like no, if you should if you do this with the Mariners, because it's like summer's perfect time to run, right? If like the
Good point.
Mariners win, you chop off those miles. So like if they win like 5-0 and then the next games you lose 2-0, 3-0, you don't have to run those 2 and 3 miles because the 5 cancels out the 2 and the 3, right? Like, I am making if we keep this, if you like do this like you're running based off
Keep this.
the performance of your sports
You
teams,
gotta keep me in check.
I
You
will
gotta.
keep
You
you
need
in
to be
check.
my
You know
virtual
me.
workup
I
buddy.
like
You gotta keep me in check.
I am like this close to like living and breathing running 24/7. It is, yeah. You don't
You
the
should join me.
life
This
of a
is
cross
fun.
country. I will join you once like maybe like winter training or like in the summer. I am absolutely down to do it. But I also got my training plan with like the team and stuff. You should. I'm just saying, Josh, join cross country. Join cross country. Should have done it this year, but
Let's okay. I think we've crossed out. Let's cross out
yeah.
of our
Okay,
personal stuff before
we're
we get. before we get-
all right. Let's go to the Sounders. Now, it's been a while since
Something
we've heard
slightly
from them.
better.
2-1 against the Galaxy, win, tie against Vancouver. Now you got one more game left against St. Louis, and then it's playoffs time. So, Josh, I mean, this game against St. Louis really doesn't matter, but would you? I mean, obviously, you're still hoping it does. All right, I'll let Josh take it away then.
Yeah. How about Martin does some research, right, with his broken computer?
Look. It's the well, the hasn't St. Louis already locked in their spot? I mean, aren't they kind of chilling?
Yeah, but we can earn points here.
True.
We can decision day. Everybody plays at exactly the same time. I mean, for provide illusion and stuff. But because we have LAFC, who's only 1 point ahead of us.
True.
Houston 2 points behind us, and then Salt Lake and Vancouver, who are 3 points behind us. And you can earn 3 points from a win here. We could, if things don't go if we lose this match, we could drop as far down as 5th place in the Western Conference standings, which means we would go on the road for our first round of playoff matches instead of hosting 2 out of the 3, because it's a best of 3 in the first round of the playoffs.
Wow.
So we could be as high as 2 and drop all the way to 5, which would mean we wouldn't have home advantage. And then we're playing against a tough test. This is a way to ramp up before the playoffs in St. Louis. Yes, they technically did clinch the conference, though they actually have a teensy bit of incentive, because in the event that they make it all the way to the MLS Cup, the home team will be whoever has the most points. So if they win that game, they'll guarantee be hosting the game if either Philadelphia, Columbus, New England, Atlanta, Nashville, anybody 3 seed or below, if they win it, any team 3 seed or below, if they play against them in the final, they would get to host it in St. Louis, which is huge because home advantage actually matters a lot in soccer. We've except the Sounders, because they actually have done better away than home. Just stupid. But anyway, tough game. Players on rest from international break, very, very important.
So I mean, I was wrong. A lot on the line in this last game against St. Louis. I mean, if you beat St. Louis, that really does put some fear into the other teams, right? To be able to beat the first place team would be pretty nice. So,
and we've done it before. 3-0 at near the beginning of the season.
And then we went into that rough stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, playoffs are locked in. So, Josh, what are you looking for in the Sounders after this game against St. Louis? Depends on who they're
As I
playing,
said,
of course. But what do you want to see?
I just want to see this team absolutely lock in before the playoffs. I'm fine with a 0-0 draw, but if you can just get that one goal very early, rush in with, but don't get anybody hurt. This is the last game before the playoffs. You don't want to get anybody hurt either. Get Jordan Morris Leachu, get that connection that we saw way back against Sporting Kansas City, locked in and fired up right before the playoffs. So I think a draw is pretty good because that almost basically guarantees us locked in at either the 3 or the 4 seed, depending on Houston's result. And that would mean we would actually play against possibly a 3-game series against Vancouver or Portland. So an we stressful Cascadia Cup matchup, which I don't want to happen, but it would be fun at the same time, and we would get home field advantage. So I think that's a nice little trade-off if we happen to get the tie. If we win, we get to play. We could probably jump LAFC as they are playing. Who are they playing? Oh, they're playing against Vancouver. So I think Vancouver could possibly pull off the upset. If they do, or they just draw and we win, then we leapfrog them, and then we get to play against someone we've actually done considerably better against, which is either Portland or even FC Dallas or San Jose, because all three of those teams are tied with 43 points.
Wow.
And you don't want that's a really stressful spot to be in the 7, 8, 9 slot, because like the NBA,
Tell me
7
about it.
just goes to the first round playoffs. 8 or 9 has to play an additional play-in game, just a one-off, no best of 3, just a one-off game. Winner goes into best of 3 against St. Louis. Loser out.
Wow. So much is on the line for the MLS right now. And we are going to be keeping tabs on the Sounders because this is going to be a very interesting set of playoff games. I mean, honestly, it's just nice to see them back in the playoffs after last year, though. So, I mean, would you take it, Josh, or are
Yeah.
you looking for more?
I'm looking for more. I don't think a first round exit would be horrible this time of year, because that means you lost 2 of the 3 games instead of a playoff. It's not some one off. Oh, I mean, yeah, they kind of beat us. It's because you absolutely sucked, and that's gonna hurt a lot more this year.
Spoken like a true Sounders fan right there. You heard it from the man, Josh. Looking for a lot from the Sounders once the playoffs roll around, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's go over to college football. We're going to cover some UW, and because of Josh being an Oregon State Beaver, we got to cover the Beavers too, unfortunately. But let's start off with Washington. All right, come on. Are you not in shock with how good this team is? Now, the world, okay, not the world, the country. Ooh, mic fall.
Yeah, who's watching the stupid Washington Oregon game?
People know how good the Huskies are now. They are number 5 in the nation now. They should be number 4 over Florida State. I will say that. But number 5, we'll take it. Because we beat the Oregon freaking Ducks 36-33. Huge matchup. I will say Dan Lanning kind of choked it. But doesn't matter. A win is a win. Especially in a game with such high stakes like this game was against Oregon. And Josh, as an Oregon State fan, you gotta be happy we won. Come on. We beat your cross-state rival. I mean, your cross-town
Yeah.
rival. So you got to be grateful we did that for you. Rome Odunze on absolute fire. Michael Penix Jr. showing why he should be the Heisman frontrunner. Jalen Polk, our boy, still putting up the numbers. Huge clutch catch to bring us down to near the red zone, and Odunze does the rest. Amazing game overall. It just really proves Michael Penix should be in that Heisman conversation. Josh, you love to see Oregon lose, and I know you saw this game. What did you think of Michael Penix? Does he deserve that Heisman recognition?
Yes, but not because he's like the best or anything. I think it's just because nobody else is there to compete with him. He's just the best quarterback um left, I guess. And I think yeah, I think if he's able to hold on, win the rest of the season, maybe make the CFP and win or do well in his game, then I think he deserves the Heisman.
And I mean, this might actually just be a precursor to the Pac-12 championship. A lot of people are saying we're not counting out USC. We're not counting out Oregon State. But a lot of people are saying this might be a precursor to that Pac-12 championship, where it might be Washington and Oregon again, since they aren't doing North versus South anymore for the Pac-12. It's just top two teams now. So I mean that might be true. We might see Oregon again. We might see Bo Nix again. We might see that explosive but very very gambling type of team that is the Oregon Ducks. And I would not mind seeing them again, but I think by that time we'll be able to dominate them a little bit more. Might be a little confident there. We barely squeaked out a win, but a win is a win. And at the end of the day, we are now number 5. Only one more spot to leapfrog. And if we hold it up at 4, we're going into the CFP. Um, Now we face Arizona State, which leads us to our next topic about the Huskies before we get to Oregon State, and that is their new uniforms. They are rocking brand new Husky royalty uniforms for this game against Arizona State. Instead of
I
the
just hang on. I
purple,
just would like to public to note that I was the person who was actually
that is
keeping tabs
that
on
is
this
true.
Husky
That is
royalty.
true.
Those two, Martin and Jacob, didn't know anything
Okay.
about it. I'm like,
Our
let's
bad.
look at this stupid album cover and see what it
Okay,
says.
in our defense, the Husky social media team is like their like album covers are kind of their thing. Like they do it a lot. I did not notice the parody of a parental advisory sticker in the corner, but I mean, I gotta say this is
You gotta
not
look
bad.
closer. You
This
gotta
is
look
yeah,
closer.
I gotta be more observant. This is not a bad jersey combo. I mean, it looks a little over the top. It kind of looks like they're like trying to get that Minnesota Vikings kind of thing, but like a darker, more gold yellow. But I still think it looks cool. The helmet's okay. The gold face mask is, I don't know. That one hits a little weird. The gold number. I mean, it's pretty much the same besides gold numbers and stuff instead this time, and like a more vibrant purple, I guess you could say. Josh, what do you think of it? You're kind of like the uniform. Um,
As a guy who has too many uniforms and has
Clearly,
spent hours tracking other uniforms, I mean, yeah, that's how I stumbled upon the Huskies. I'm like, hey, look, uniform. They're gonna release a uniform there. I saw. I've been looking at it all year, waiting for that all year because there was a leak about it all the way back in January. Uh, anyway, I absolutely love those jerseys. Personally, I really like it, even though I'm an Oregon State fan. I think they're able to use that gold a lot more, and it pairs really nice with their away Husky royalty jerseys. I don't see. I mean, I can see what you mean by the Minnesota Vikings, but I don't like recognize it as soon as I see the jersey. I see more of a Husky thing. Metallic just shines perfectly on the field, or well, perfectly on the helmets and on the jerseys as well. I really like it. And I think it's a pretty good jersey that I might honestly get. Like I think it's like at tier level of really good jersey.
wow.
They like modernized it like the Oregon Ducks do every single week, but they didn't absolutely just blow up their tradition in the colors. I think they were able to mix it up. They made a bold mix up kind of thing that was able to fit tradition. And that's my type of jersey.
I gotta say, those cleats look absolutely clean though. Like the gold on the bottom is just fire. The purple helmet is interesting. You could say it's like something new, kind of. So I would take it. I think it's a pretty good.
You
It
should be
looks a
happy.
lot more vibrant. It's a lot more vibrant than our current uniforms. So I guess I'll take it. Is this? Are we? Is this a one-off thing, or are they gonna keep this?
I think it's a one-off thing because they did that with their away Husky royalty
Yeah.
jerseys as well. They're never gonna wear those types of jerseys on the championship games. No one ever does that. But maybe for an away game against the Oregon State Beavers, they're coming to Corvallis in November. Maybe. See,
I mean, I wouldn't mind that being a one-off thing. We'll see how it looks like on the turf of Husky Stadium, though. I think that's where we'll see if it truly looks as good as it seems. And yeah, we got that Oregon Stadium. But before that, I mean, what do we have? We got Stanford in 2 weeks, and then a big one against USC. I think that USC game is gonna determine the Heisman winner. Whoever comes out of that game with the dub wins the Heisman. It's gonna be Caleb Williams or it's gonna be Michael Penix Jr. One of those two. One of those two. And then we got Utah after, and then we have Oregon State, where we'll probably win because we're number 5 in the nation for a reason. All right, number 5 in the nation for a reason. Let's go to Oregon State. Josh, I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, your team is pretty good. What did you think?
We beat UCLA by 12 points. That's a lot more than the Huskies beat up Oregon. But I mean,
But
that's
it's
kind of. I
Oregon.
mean, yeah, great. Okay, I mean, who cares? Oregon doesn't even treat the game like a rivalry game. There's been numerous comments about it. Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard a
Um.
lot of Oregon comments talking about like how they think Washington is, inferior to them. But that's just me.
Yeah, inferior. They don't care. It's just like a sad
Well,
ups.
that
Like,
lights a
oh
fire.
yeah,
We have had Oregon's number in the last couple of years, so they might as
That's
well
why
treat
they
it as
don't
a
treat it as a
rivalry now.
rivalry because they just keep on getting beat. Yeah.
Well, they should now. That makes it a lot more interesting. I mean,
Anyway, let's stop talking about the Huskies here. Let's talk about the number 12 team in the nation, the Oregon State Beavers, 6-1, 4-1 in conference play, I
just
think.
just just a comment. A lot of people are wondering how did the Beavers get here, and that just really shows how irrelevant they have been in the last decade. That's all I'm gonna say.
How did they get here? Oh, I don't know. Look at former Oregon State uh player and now coach Jonathan Smith. Ever since took over the team about 3 years ago and started turning this roster, starting getting not even he doesn't even get a lot of star players, but finding the right players to turn this team into a national contender. And that's what they did. This could have been even blown out even more because of the refs. You had a uh face mask call, even though the guy was grabbing the shoulder pad. You had so many like really, really, really bad calls by the refs that could have changed the tide of that. And UCLA, we forced Dante Moore to throw 3 interceptions and only allow one touchdown. DJ Ugalele, 266 yards, 2 touchdowns. Um, and we basically ran that whole game 7.7 yards per play, 282 passing yards. We did allow the run a little bit too much. Um, that's okay. We got the job done, and we move on against
Arizona.
Arizona, who beat the team that we lost in the Pac-12 champion or
Not
Pac-2
even not
championship.
even beat them, Josh. Whooped them. Well, it was like 44-6, right?
Yeah, 40-6, which I mean doesn't look good for our resume. But hey, we can lose to Wazoo. Arizona can beat Wazoo, but then we can absolutely crush unranked Arizona. Um, in Arizona in Pac-12 after dark time. All of that, we get to
Uh,
be a ranked team, and then we get forced to instead of the 430 spot. You know who's in the 430 spot? Colorado against UCLA.
it's ridiculous. Colorado's lost like what 3 straight. Like, come on.
Yeah,
We gotta stop with Colorado. We
don't
already
put the
know they
number
suck.
12
They
ranked
suck.
team. You got to put 25 ranked
But
UCLA
then,
who
but
got
then you
destroyed.
also gotta remember, like, Josh, that just kind of shows that a lot of people turn a blind eye to Oregon State. I think that's very unfair, but that's just kind of what it is, unfortunately.
We had we had we had like 7 million viewers that even though our game was running at the same time as Notre Dame USC. I mean, come on.
That that is solid.
That's pretty solid for an Oregon State game. And then after that, it's a cakewalk against the Colorado Buffaloes.
If you lose to Arizona, oh, it's gonna be pretty funny. But then if we lose to Arizona State, then we can both just cry together. Um, but that's what you got for college football. I mean, it is on fire. Our two teams are doing great, and our crosstown rivals, not so much. Well, okay, Oregon's still pretty good. They're number 9. But I think if we were to pit
Who
Oregon State and
cares?
Oregon, I think Oregon State could prevail. But that is it. I mean, it is wild in college football right now. I would say this is like college sports are on another level right now. Like college football is on another. It is so entertaining. Um.
Pac-12
Oh,
actually relevant.
by the way, shout out to that one Husky student on College Game Day who scored the field goal, and Pat McAfee gave him what, like $30,000?
$30,000 because
Fire.
he made it on his second attempt.
Well, okay, but on that first attempt, he almost had it. He had the leg, just a little bit over. So I mean, shout out to Pat McAfee for like giving him another shot, and he drilled it his second try. Isn't that the first guy to make it this year?
Maybe, but I think this is the first time he got in a second attempt.
That is true, but hey, he still made it, and that's really mad. He still gets 30K, which is crazy,
Yeah.
and he can pay off his college, like a good chunk of his college tuition right there. But I think that is it for our episode. Thank you for listening. Check us out, YouTube, Spotify. We got all our podcasts back up on Spotify. And we'll see you guys next time. Man, the sports are still wild and it is insane. We'll see you guys next time.